everyone, it's Tammy and welcome to my channel. If you are a new subscriber or a new visitor, I really appreciate you being here, and I would appreciate if you'd subscribe. If you've been an old subscriber, that sounds funny, I really appreciate all the support, and I really appreciate all the positive comments that I've been getting. I truly do. Thank you guys very much. Today we're going to do something fun. We're going to make a box out of a Christmas card. So this is a Christmas card that I have in my collection. It's not been used, but you could certainly use a recycled card. You could use one that you just didn't use last year or the year before or 10 years ago or whatever you just still have in your stash. Or you could use one that you've upcycled from someone else. It does not matter. And I call it upcycled because you're taking something old and making it a whole fresh new look. And yes, I've done this once before, and if you can see what I did wrong, I did the lid on the bottom and the bottom on the top. So, ding bat. We learned from our mistakes, and we are moving forward. And I am trimming off the very top of the card because we don't want it to be a card. We want it to be two pieces of cardstock like this. And then I'm going to score the top part with the beautiful picture on it at 7/8 of an inch all the way around. So you want it to be almost an inch, but not quite all the way around. And this is my cutter, so I'm putting that up so I will not cut. And I'm finding my scorer, which is here. So this is going to be at 7/8 of an inch, and I am just scoring it on all four sides. So yes, even seasoned crafters make mistakes, and I thought that I would show that just so that you guys would know that we're all human and anyone can craft. I've been making these boxes for years and I still screwed up because I just forgot. Couldn't remember which one was the smaller one, and in my head it seemed like the bottom was, but the top is the smaller one, or the smaller. You're trimming off the smallest amount, which does make sense now because that means this is the biggest part, which is the bigger part of the box. And then we are going to trim this one. So if you noticed, I scored this one with the image down. That's because when you put the score line in there, it naturally wants to fold this way. And so this one I'm going to put with the image that I want on the bottom of the box facing up so that I can see that when I fold it. So I'm doing this at an inch. So the top was at 7/8 of an inch, the bottom is at an inch, or however big you want it. You can make these boxes custom to whatever size you want. And you don't even have to use cards. I just thought that that's a cool way to upcycle a card. And I know I've mentioned, you've seen this card in my 12 Cards of Christmas series. I don't know which video is going to get posted, but I did something with this card in my 12 Cards of Christmas series as well. And my dad, I told this story too, my dad used to take Christmas cards that he'd received from people that he loved, and he would make them into tags the next year at Christmas. It was just really sweet. So on the base of the card, you want to cut a small little Christmas tree out of 4 of the sides on the card. So I always look at it and I cut those 2, and then I turn around and cut those 2. You could do these 2 and these 2, whichever you like better, but I don't know why, this is just how I always do it. And what I do is I just try to cut on either side of the score line up to the score line. So I'm cutting at a slant, and I'm cutting to this score line on either side of this bottom score line. And that's a little bigger than I need. I just need a little slice out of the bottom one. The top one I'm going to make a bigger slice. But these I just need a small little slice. A bigger one isn't going to really hurt anything. It's just, you don't need it. So, I don't know. So that's all you do for this one. And then for the top, which this is the top of the card, I'm going to cut Christmas trees again, starting on either side of the score line and going up to the score line, same as before, only this Christmas tree is going to be a little bigger. It's going to be a little fuller of a tree. So I cut a little bit more off. And I'm saying Christmas tree just because these are Christmas cards, but you can use these for birthdays or whatever. I know this year for Christmas I'm giving some jewelry away since my sister-in-law and I have a shop on Etsy. I have been making jewelry more than I've ever done in my life, and it's so much fun. And some of it I'm not trying to brag, but some of it is really, really pretty, I think. And so pretty that I'm willing to give it as Christmas gifts. Everything on our store is something that, everything that I've made for the store is something that I would totally, totally wear. And our styles are a little bit different, my sister-in-law and I, but we both agree that things in the store are things that we would wear. So I am folding each one of these up at the score line. And if we wouldn't wear it, we don't post it, because that's just not the way we want to roll. And our stuff is fairly decently priced, I believe. I mean, in my head, I think that for the amount of effort that we've put into making it, it's all a good price, and I think it's nice, and I think that that's part of why we're giving some of it away as Christmas presents. I think that it will help advertise our business, and it's a nice gift. I would enjoy getting them, so I figure that's the way I like to do gifts. If it's something that I would like to get, then that classifies as a gift that I like to give. And I know that this has some stuff written on the back. No big deal. It doesn't really matter. If you wanted to cover it with cardstock or something, you could. I just don't. I don't think it's a big deal. I do like having a nice sentiment in the middle of the card, like at the box. But there's sometimes that if I feel like I'm going to put, let's say I'm going to put some cotton on the bottom, or I'm going to put some tissue paper on the bottom, then I would make that the bottom, and I would cover this up so that nobody would see that, and that would be at the bottom. But it's really not a big deal, however you want to do it. Now, I got this really cool tape at the Daisy-O store in Dallas, Fort Worth. It is just double-sided tape with a cutter. I don't particularly care for the cutter, so I'm just cutting it. But I don't know if you've ever gotten cards or something that already has sticky on it, and it has this little piece of stuff you have to get off. This is that stuff, and it seems to be really sticky and really good. Everything I've used it for, which has only been a couple of things now, it's worked very well. I used it on that box, and then I tore the box apart to try to see if I could fix it, but there was no salvage in it. But then I put it back, and I mean, it seems to still be holding, so I would say this is pretty good stuff. But you can also use, I don't know if you're familiar with the red tape or just really sticky double-sided tape. And you know what I just did? Again, do what I say and not what I do. I put this on the wrong side. I was supposed to put it on this side because I was going to take these and stick them on the inside and do this. Now I'm going to have to stick them on the outside, and I probably will have to do some trimming. This box is just getting the best of me, isn't it? That's okay. Or I could just, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do some more tape. That's the thing about crafting, guys. There's usually a way to fix it. And everyone makes mistakes, so do not trash something if you feel like you've made a mistake with it. You could probably still use it for something else. Even that little box, I could still use it as a box. If I gave that box to my son like that, he wouldn't have any clue. He wouldn't care. Heck, I could probably give it to my husband like that, and he'd think, this is beautiful, Tammy. So, and then if you do have to waste something, which again isn't very often, really, it's this one would just be wasting a card. I mean, it's really not a huge big deal. Especially since this is a card that doesn't mean anything to me. It's not sentimental. No one sent it to me. I just had it in my stash. I know that I make cards, but sometimes I just don't feel like making them at Christmas time. It depends on what's going on. I mean, there have been years when I just haven't felt like doing the homemade thing, and I didn't. And that's okay. And then the years that you feel like it, do it. And I have sent out a lot less cards the last few years than I've ever sent out. So there, we just stuck them all on here. And for some reason, this, I must have trimmed this at a different size. So, I don't know. We can take this and trim this off, especially this edge. It seems to be a little big. I screwed something up. So I'm just trimming it down just so that it matches the other side. I will get this card done, this box done, I promise. Now hopefully that doesn't mess up my box. So let me check here. No, it will still be fine. It was enough that it wasn't too much. So now remember to put these on the outsides. So the sticky part goes on the pretty side of the card. But it's going to be a side that you don't see, so it's not a big deal. I love this card. It's so pretty. Anything that Thomas Kincaid does really is beautiful. What a master of paint. He is awesome. And I heard that he puts his wife's name or initials, I don't remember now, in every card or every painting that he does. How sweet is that? So you just put those down on each one. I'm just giving it some good oomph to stick it on there. And then we will peel this off. And bring these up. And you kind of want the edge here to match up. The sides aren't necessarily going to match up, which is okay, but the top edge should match pretty decently. The sides aren't going to be too far off, and it's not a big deal. It's just where you put the, it's just where you cut it, where you put the Christmas tree, and you want it to be like that, so that's okay. And now I'm just pushing these down just an extra time just to make sure that they're stuck pretty well. And then what we do is we put the top on the bottom, and there is our sweet box. Isn't that cute? It just fits in there beautifully. You can put your tag on here, tie a ribbon around it, whatever you'd like to do. When you open it up and it says wishing you all the warmth of the, and wishing you all the warmth, all the beauty, all the contentment Christmas can bring. And it's just a sweet little box. And I will probably put some twine, not this one, but probably some twine around here to tie it once I've got my goodies in here. And that is it, with a little tag, and it's beautiful. You could even put like a poinsettia on the side, or one of those paper roses, or whatever you'd like to do. But that's how to make a very nice box out of a Christmas card, and it turns out lovely. I hope that you guys like it. Merry Christmas.